People say that I have a resting bitch face, and I don't think that I do, but everybody says it's cruel, casto. They say you look very unapproachable. So these days, everywhere I go, I'm just smiling. And I started as a production assistant, but the more I got into production, the more promotions I got, the harder it was to then act. No producer is good. You're not going to tell any producer you are leaving his set to go and act on another set when you are the production coordinator on this set. So it was really hard. There was a point where it was only series that I was getting.
Exactly.
People were just, they would send you 13 episodes. I said, I want to do film.
Yes.
And I didn't want to be put in that box of series. Although people said it's not a bad box to be in, but it's just not for me. That's not what I want. It got to a point where I was tired. It had been months. There were sometimes I would get calls for auditions and I'm just like, I don't want to go for this audition. First of all, if I wear makeup, it's worse because it will show more. If I don't wear makeup, you will still see that it's bad. One of my favorite people in the world has passed.
Come for me.
Right, welcome.
Thank you.
It's great to see you. I'm going to tell you why. But first, before telling you why, it was until reading this that I found out that you are Tunde Aladese's sister. You know, I used to see it on the screen. I'm like, what if this lady is...
When she was actually in the country a few weeks ago, and we actually spoke about you.
Right.
Yes.
Let me tell you the thing that she should have told you that she never told you. I have a huge crush on Tunde. I've always had it, so you can tell her. But anytime she thinks I'm about to say it.
Really, you think?
She will just divert it.
Women are fond of that.
Yes. She did it once, twice, 3 times. I give up. I just like Chude. She doesn't want to hear it.
They don't want to just change the friendship. Let's just maintain that friendship.
But Tunde is one of the smartest people I've ever met.
Growing up, she was something else. I used to read books that she would write when she was younger, and that's how I grew up, just reading her books.
I love it. First time I saw this one, I'm happy to meet you. I watched you in Unbroken.
Oh.
And I was a fan. Unbroken was the last African Magic series I watched. And this is the reason.
Why did you stop?
It was addictive. So I was rushing home. I was binge watching. It was so good. I don't watch series anymore, so it's not about African Magic. I'm just like, there's too much investment in these things. Some of them are 250 episodes.
Yes, it's a lot of investment.
Because I did finish Unbroken, and I'm like,
thank you for watching.
Unbroken was really
that's a real honor.
Yeah.
That's a real honor.
Unbroken was really good. Unbroken was the next one I watched after Ajoche.
Okay, yes, Ajoche was really good as well.
Yes, I wasn't part of the mania for Jemeji. I wasn't part of the mania.
I was on Jemeji as well.
Yes, I know that, but I wasn't part of that mania because Jemeji was a sickness. I wasn't part of it. Battleground was a sickness everybody had. I didn't join those two, but Ajoche and Unbroken. I mean, you were so... And I hadn't seen you. I hadn't seen Jemeji was before.
Yeah, it was before.
Unbroken.
So that in 2017.
Yes. So I hadn't seen you, but I thought, who is this lady that is so good? And what I like about your acting is that I think directors know that they will have a complex character.
Okay, I think that's a good thing.
Yes, it's a complex character, and also if they're looking for a bit of a villain.
Do you know, funny enough, they haven't given me enough villains. I really want to play more villains.
Are you serious?
I think the last one I played up until maybe last month was Folashade Kuku in Unbroken. But I really enjoyed playing that.
Yes, I can see.
I want more of this. I want more of this. I want to be the bad guy.
You were rocking it. Are men afraid to meet you in real life?
People say that I have a resting bitch face, and I don't think that I do, but everybody says it's cruel, casto. They say you look very unapproachable. So these days, everywhere I go, I'm just smiling. So that they don't say I'm not unapproachable.
Yeah.
So I'm trying these days.
Yeah, but talking about the bad guy, because Sole, I interviewed Mike Afalami 2 days ago.
Yes,
as part of Far From Home. Two of you were having fun with that character. You tell me about that, doing that role. So Sole is one of the hits of this year.
Yes.
You know, I watched it in the cinemas. And it was Aduni Ade's first directing. So I wasn't really sure, but I love Aduni.
Oh, she didn't direct.
Sorry, she produced. Sorry. Her company produced
it.
And Kayode Kasum, a favourite of mine, directed it. So I went because it's anything Kayode Kasum, I watch. You know. And then Aduni's first film, so I had to watch. And I was just... But when I finished, I'm like, oh, that was good.
That's good.
So I went and watched it again.
That's good.
I'm a repeat watcher. And then when it came on
Netflix.
I was happy that Nigerians were excited
Yeah,
by it.
excited about it.
But it was a complex film.
Yes, it was.
But also you and Mike were just like the almost villain, but not really
Yeah, but
villain,
not really,
action
not
film. How was that for you?
Well, first of all, when I first got the script, I was on set, and so I had to quickly brush through it.
Right.
But I was looking, page 1 to 20. I did not see this girl. She was not doing anything. I said, so why do they want me to play this character? So I now told the producer, I'm like, I don't know why you guys want me to play this, but okay, this is my figure. Then I came back and said, okay, can we do this? Can we do this? I said, no. They said, Kayode said you must do it, and Kayode is my guy. So I was like, you know what? I'll do it. So when I now wrapped on the set that I was on and I read it, I'm like, why was I forming purpose if I want to do this? Because it's not about lines. A bunch of actors, when they see certain characters and there are not enough lines, they're like, yeah, I don't want to do this. But when I saw what she ended up doing at the end of the day, that's Clara, although a lot of people don't even know her name, I was like, okay, this is interesting. This is something I've never done before, and it's action. So I was really excited about it. Yeah. And I'm excited that Kayode had enough faith in me to be able to pull it off. Because Adeniade had never heard of me. It was Kayode that suggested me. So I was very excited.
Had you worked with Kayode before then?
Yes, on Unbroken. He was one of the directors on
Unbroken. Oh, he was on Unbroken.
Yes, he was the director on Unbroken.
You see, I know my people, because you see, I said I liked Unbroken.
Yes.
And every director has a point of view. And when you like a director, you're essentially liking a point of view. When I see that, I like this, I didn't know it was his project. And that means that I really like it.
He's one of the 3 or 4 directors on Unbroken.
Yes, on Unbroken. That was a delicious thing. How did you learn how to act? Because obviously you didn't go to film school.
Yes.
You didn't go to acting school.
Yes, I still hope to at some point. But to be honest, I'm not sure that I knew that I wanted to act up until SS2. SS1, SS2, thereabout.
Yes, you said it in an interview with The Guardian this year.
Yes, I wanted to be a lawyer at first. And then I read this book by O.J. Simpson. He was one of the prosecutors on this book by Christopher Darden. He was one of the prosecutors on the O.J. Simpson
that's
case.
The second lawyer, the one that was supporting Marshall Clark.
Yes. And it just chronicled the entire case. And I finished this book and I closed it and I said, I'm not cut out to be a lawyer. First of all, I don't know what I would do if I lost a case for a client. It took a lot, because I read this book and I saw the point of view of these 2 lawyers and how they felt about losing this case. So I was just like, yeah, it's not for me. What next can I do?
Seriously?
Yes, that's how it was. So my plan B was, you know what? I kind of like acting. Like, I watch films. I used to watch Genevieve's films back then, and I used to love She and Regina Askia. But it was now in SS2 that I was like, you know what? I'm not sure that I want to go to school to study acting, just in case it doesn't work out for me. What else can I study? And I'm like, my plan B is to be a news anchor. And that's why I decided to study mass comm. So I was like, I asked my parents, and they're like, if you want to study theater arts, we are here with you, do it. But I'm just like, just in case, so let me just study mass comm, then I'll try acting. And fortunately for me, I studied mass comm and I came out, I started production, and then I now started acting. And while I was in school, I interned on Tentel because Chude was head writer on Tentel at the time. So she put in a good word for me to do my internship on Tentel. So I was like, you know what? I think this would be a good way to enter into the industry. And so I was doing, I was assisting the production coordinators and the ADs on set. And then I went back to school and finished. And then I sent an email to my boss, who was producer of Tentel at the time, Mr. Rogers. And I'm like, I hear that you are starting African Magic Original Films, and I would like to either work as a production assistant or a third AD. And he's like, you know what, come for an interview. And so I did that, and then I started as a production assistant. But the more I got into production, the more promotions I got, the harder it was to then act. No producer you're not going to tell any producer you are leaving his set to go and act on another set when you are the production coordinator on this set. So it was really hard to then start acting until at some point, some people just started believing in me for some reason. And then it got easier. The point where I really broke out was on Jemeji. And it was a combination of Nne, Victor Sanchez Agahoua, and Mr. Okpeyemi Odugbemi. And it was just like, okay, there's this character. And everybody suggests, okay, maybe she can do it. She can do it. Oh yeah, let her come audition. And they're like, yeah, you have the role. I'm like,
just like
and
that.
I was PM on that gig.
So you were working.
I was working
behind the scene,
yes,
and
as well, and that was hard. It was hard.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful because that's where things just took a turn. That's where people started noticing that, okay, who is this girl?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really grateful.
That's amazing. At some point, did you think that it was because they didn't think you could act?
Of course. Of course. I doubted myself a bunch of times because I'm like, okay, is there something that they are seeing that me I'm not seeing? Maybe I'm believing in myself too much. Maybe this actor is not for me. Maybe you think you are the next Genevieve and you are not. So it took a lot of me being stubborn and me believing, because I was obviously growing in production. I could have just said, you know what, let's put this acting aside, which is the case for a number of actors. When it gets too tough, you're like, you know what, let me try something else.
Yes.
But I was doing well in production.
Right.
And there's still some people that are like, Tenny, why did you, yeah, you're a good actor, but why did you just push production aside? You were growing through the ranks. But yeah, it was hard then. And I did at some point believe that, you know what, maybe I'm not that good an actor. But it took people that knew me and believed in me to remind me of who I was. And I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah.
There are different audiences. I like to reach different kinds of people. There are the people that don't watch TV. Some people don't have DSTV. Some people, it's only YouTube they watch stuff on and on Netflix. Some people, they go to the cinema. So I would like to reach different audiences and not just be in one box. There are sometimes that people, and some people see it as a compliment. They say, Teniola Aladese is one of the queens of web series. I wouldn't say I don't want to be the queen of web series, but I want to be the queen of all of them.
Yes.
I don't just want to be in that
one
box.
Yeah.
So when I see it, I'm like, this is why I've been saying no to web series, because it's getting too much. It's like, it's only web series. Last year, I got 3 scripts for 3 different web series, as opposed to the ones I'm already on. I was just like, it's okay for me now. Yes. Yes.
Generally, what have you learned in this kind of, I was speaking to Reti Doyle this morning. I say, if you're an actor and you're not ready for rejection, this is not,
you go collect.
Not the career for you.
You will collect rejection day in, day out.
Yes. How do you react? How have you learned to react to it?
What I say and what me and a bunch of my actor friends say is, what is yours is yours. What is yours will come to you. If it is your own, it is your own. Nobody will take it from you. Right. So if they ended up giving you that, if they gave you that character in the first place, and then at some point they say, oh, sorry, we're giving it to somebody else, it was not yours to begin with. And that is something that I go by every day. If it was meant to be mine, it would be mine.
Right.
Yes. And so when I go for auditions now, in the past, in the beginning, when I go for auditions and I don't hear back, I used to email casting director saying, hi, I'm so sorry to bother you. I would like to know what I did wrong or why I didn't get this character, just for future purposes, just for a learning curve, just for me to learn. And some people would gladly tell me the reason. Now, if I get it, thank God. If I don't get it, I move on. I can't keep myself. The ones that will come will come.
Yeah.
And I just try to remind myself of that every single day.
Every single day, yes.
So if I lost everything, the person or people that I would run to, first of all, God. God is at the center of everything in my life. I couldn't possibly do anything without God in my life. He's brought me so far. Also, one of my favorite people in the world has passed, unfortunately. He's my ex, Osang James Abang. He was one of the people that truly believed in me, always used to urge me, even after we were no longer together. He just believed in me and he cared about people. He was such a good person, which is why I say he was my favorite person in the world. He was such a good person and he truly cared about people. He was just a good human being. And I enjoyed being his friend. I enjoyed being around him. I enjoyed learning from him. I learned a lot about not taking things to heart, about taking people for who they are, about not judging people from him. He's the reason that I believe that I take people for who they are. I don't like to judge people. There's sometimes I catch myself judging. I'm like, calm down. You would do similar in your case, or you would do a different thing. So yeah, it's been hard. I was angry at God for a while. He passed, I think, a couple of months after we broke up. And he even was dating somebody else, but while
Oh, wow.
yes, I mean after we broke up, but we still remain friends. But after he passed, it was a huge blow on me, on his friends, on his family members. I don't want to even know how his mom copes. He was the only son, one daughter, one son. And so for me, it took a lot of reassurance that people come into this world for a certain purpose. Because the reason I was angry with God was this guy had his whole life ahead of him. He was so talented. He was so talented. He was a writer. And he had plans to direct. And even after we broke up, he's like, you're still going to produce my films. And so there were all these plans. And then, just like that, accident, and the guy goes. So I'm like, why would you allow this happen? But now, what I used to console myself is that he was here for a purpose. He left his mark. You guys, all of us that were his friends, remember him for who he was and for how good of a person he was. See me today saying, even in his death, he's my favorite person in the world. That is a testament to who he was while he was alive. That was his purpose.
What do you think is one of the biggest lessons that you've taken, not just from acting, but just from your career so far? Just 10 years, looking back, the transition, getting how you're going to the industry, moving to production, being stopped from going to production, finally moving to acting. And then the thing that was a problem for you becomes one of your key advantages because you acted in on TV series, web series, now in movies. Look at that whole trajectory. What would you say is the greatest thing that you've taken away from that experience?
I think one would be the people that I surround myself with.
Right.
If I had surrounded myself with people who did not believe in me, e.g., if my parents did not believe that I could do this thing that I wanted to do, that would have been the first problem. If I had friends that didn't believe I was a good actor, if my siblings did not believe that I was a good actor, that would have been, I probably won't be where I am right now. So it's a combination of parents that supported me, siblings that believed in me and supported me, friends that were constantly. There's something that my ex used to say. He would say, life is a little easier when you have people that can hold you accountable to your dreams. And I find that to be so true in my life because there are people that are constantly telling me, if I feel down at some point, telling now you feel on them. It's you now, you will do it. Let's say there's a character that I get offered and I'm like, I don't know if I'm right for this, telling you now. Just read your script, do your regular process, you will do it. So just being around people that are so supportive and believe in you, even almost more than you believe in yourself, is such a blessing. It's such a huge blessing.
Yes. You talked about, told our producers about, and so other people who are not in this career, they would think that it's not a big deal, about how you had an acne breakout.
Hey! Today, I was depressed. I've never been depressed in my life up until that point.
Why exactly? Why was it a depressing time? Because people would say, it's not be pimples, Why was it that?
My face is part of my career. So I was on Loving Amanda's set.
Right.
This was February of last year. And we were in this boutique hotel. And Lekki Water.
I know Lekki Water. I do know.
So me, I used to live on the mainland up until a few months ago. So me, I just came innocently. I entered my room. I now told the cash chaperone, please, I would, could you, because I opened the tap in the, in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And the smell of the water just wasn't hitting right. So I said, could she please get me a couple of bags of pure water so that I would be using to wash my face? So it's either she forgot or she was so preoccupied with everybody else's problems and everybody sending her up and down. By the time my call time was like 10 a.m. 9:30 was nearing. I said, it's just bath. That's the mistake I made. By the third day, I was seeing dots.
Yeah.
Fourth day, by the time we wrapped, the next week after we wrapped, my entire forehead was covered. The second week, my entire face was covered. So I was trying different things. Different people were suggesting different things. It was getting worse. So it was not.
Sorry, I just thought the pressure
it's
was getting
worse. it was Wester. Ah, no. And so months were going by. I'm like, this thing is not getting better. Yeah. People are casting me with my regular face. When I now get on set, they are seeing a different face. So they're not wondering, why did I cast this girl? Like, that's what was going through my own head. Because if I had cast normal Tenny and I see the Tenny with, what's happening now? So that was what was happening. So it got to a point where I was tired. It had been months. There were sometimes I would get calls for auditions and I'm just like, I don't want to go for this audition. First of all, if I wear makeup, it's worse because it will show more. If I don't wear makeup, you will still see that it's bad. Yeah. So, and then I will get there, I will perform, and then because of my face, you will probably not end up casting me because of what my face looks like now. So I was depressed. I would cry. My sister didn't know until, and this is the sister before me, she didn't know until I posted it on Instagram after everything had cleared, and she was like, you didn't tell me it was this bad. I say it was bad. Yeah. I would break down in my house crying. Right. That, what did I do to deserve this? My career is just taking off and this thing has come and spoil it.
That was also the fear. Your career is just taking off. Yes. This career that you have been praying for. No. So how did you manage yourself? What did you do to keep yourself going in that time?
In that period, it was a lot of worship music by Jude, a lot of prayer, and then Samuel Joseph. From the aesthetic clinic, my God. Because I went to the aesthetic clinic after some time and then they started treating me and it took months.
That's one in Lekki, isn't it?
Yes, it took months and it got worse before it got better. And I spent money, a lot of money, but it was, because when people message me sometimes now to ask how much I spent in total on my face, and I tell them the figure, they say on this one face, I say it's my career. I couldn't, because there were some people that they were telling me, you know what, you should have just left what? Yes. How will I walk? What will I tell them?
What did I tell the committee?
They said, it will clear. I waited months. It didn't clear. So I had to do something about it. Yeah, so that's
finally, because this industry has pressure, the social media pressure, pressure of clothes to red carpet, pressure of perfect posts, pressure of great social media numbers. All that demand on the modern actor, because these days people are also casting people straight from social media. Just like, what can this person, what kind of engagement, this person is troublemaker.
Exactly.
How do you manage in all that chaos to still have your core, remember who you are,
It's hard, I can't even lie. Number one, I remind myself to take constant breaks from social media because sometimes it can get very overwhelming. Especially because different things can happen. E.g., maybe you haven't worked for 3 weeks. You are on Instagram, you are scrolling, you are seeing your peers, your colleagues, they are working. Kilo day. Is it that I'm not a good actor anymore? Are they not saying me anymore? These things get to you. As much as people say that it doesn't, it gets to you. And so sometimes it gets overwhelming. Just different people's opinions as a whole, it gets overwhelming. Sometimes I just like to block everybody off. Lock no Instagram for 2 weeks. Let me be on my own. Let me live in my house or go to set and come back. When I'm over everything, I will come back to social media. But it gets overwhelming.
It does get overwhelming.
It does get overwhelming.
And then finally, I think this year you were nominated for the Future Awards. Or
yes. It was early this year. I got nominated for the Future Awards and then I won Trailblazer.
At the AMVCA. Yes. And that Trailblazer Award is the people that have won it. It has been proven right that when they finish it, they trailblaze.
Bisola, number one.
Bisola, Lala, etc. What was that? Because it's one thing. Look, and if people haven't won awards, there are many multiple successful actors in the world who haven't won awards, taken seriously. So that's not really a measure of whether a person. But it's quite nice for the people that you are doing the thing with to say.
It was very validating.
It was very validating. When you're standing on that stage and receiving the Trailblazer Award, what was going through my head? Looking at this,
it shocked me. That's what was. It was just like it shocked me because I did not expect it. And when I used to tell people that I didn't expect it, they're like, even when they called you to call, I was like, I didn't expect it. I just thought, because what had happened was that morning, one of the commissioning editors at Africa Magic called me and says, "Oh, we're going to see you today, Abby." I said, no, me, I'm not planning on coming today. I'm just going to read script in my house and drink pap and akara on my bed. She said, no, Tenny, you come. We're pitching you for one showmax show. The lie that they told.
I love it.
I chopped it.
I love
They said
it.
they were pitching me for one showmax show and that the South Africans were going back to South Africa that evening, immediately after the event. And so I had to come. And I started looking for clothes.
Yes.
My 2020 dress is what I turned to a skirt to wear.
I love it.
They said, no, just wear a black dress and come. But how to wear something sensible? So I went to one tailor outside Magodo and I said, turn this dress.
Are you serious?
Yes. Turn this dress into a skirt. That's what I wore for the event. And then I was sitting down waiting for the event to end so that I can do my meeting.
Your audition.
And all of a sudden, they say, oh, Tenny, it's you. They are reading the biography. Oh, you start going down. I said, go down where? What? And so it was very overwhelming.
Yeah.